There it is. All right. So what you had going on today?
Um, I just actually went downtown here in Baltimore, and I applied for the permit for the
Okay.
fatherhood rally.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, if it gets approved, it's going to be right outside the courthouse where they do
Okay.
family law.
All right. When is that?
That's April 30th.
Okay.
All
Okay. End
right.
of the month. And what
Yeah.
what exactly is going to be going on?
We're going to be educating the fathers. We want to at least expose them to what the laws are in Maryland that they
Uh,
can vote on, because sometimes they don't know. Okay, and we want not just me, the entire board wants to let fathers know what they have to do in order to make legislation change, what they have to do to point out that they deserve rights to their children.
mm,
Okay. Um, Basically, we just want to spread the word. Okay. Do it
mm,
on a grand scale and
mm,
have the fathers that we've helped along the way, and possibly
mm,
those that we still have to help to come on board and do this.
mm. Yeah. A couple times I've gone down to the courthouse and with another dad that was going through a situation. And in all honesty, I think that's where you'll find your most fertile recruitment grounds, because people walking in and out, you know, I didn't mean to laugh at people, but I was like, I would look at people and be like, you just got kicked in the ass, bro. Here's a flyer. Here's a flyer. Let's get on the same page. Because I was telling Don, come on in, Don. I was telling him that Riverside here, we got a vote for district attorney coming up, right? And the district attorney, he has full discretion on what laws, what he's going to prosecute.
Right.
And every dad is going through the withholding of visitation, and it's completely up to the district attorney to if he's going to press charges or pursue charges against a mom that's withholding visitation. So if we go down there in mass, a group of at least 25, 30 of us, and ask him, why are you not enforcing these family law court orders? If you want our vote, tell us what you're going to do to rectify this situation. So that's a really big part of it. Bringing legislation, bringing the law in on it, and you pretty ahead of the game in that. It's what else you got going
on? Basically, I don't know if I told you. I put in for an amendment to a bill.
Okay.
The legislature they were going to get in two jurisdictions here in Maryland. They
Mm-hmm.
were going to give $500,000 for violence prevention and community service.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked for an amendment to that bill. I said I would like to see part of that money go towards fatherhood rights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and actually working towards educating fathers on what it means to be a co-parent. Okay,
Okay.
we have legislation, we have programs that's under the Title IX that helps women educate other women on violence and like that. So why can't we have programs that help fathers know their actual role, how to get custody, how to put forth that right? Okay, and I asked for those for funding to go towards and see. I know they're gonna. I'm gonna say, for lack of a better term, not like me. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
not like me for the fact that um, it's an actual nonprofit who's actually doing this.
Okay.
Okay, 501c3,
Mm-hmm.
and that's who the money is going to. 501c nonprofits who want to do community service, okay? And who better, who I'm gonna use my slang, who better else to do it for if those fathers who are not coming out of institution or being institutionalized, fathers who are on parole or probation, and sometimes they are not the ones who have had the best relationships with their fathers. Okay, don't don't use it as a crutch. Let that be the catalyst for your change. You want to change the dynamic. You want to change how things are done. You want to change your family lifestyle. Okay, if you want to change your family lifestyle, do something about it. Let's start here. Let us help you. Let us work with you. And people say, well, don't you charge a lot? I'm like, man, we're a nonprofit. What do you mean? We're trying to get funding, yeah, but you got to look at it. A lot of funders don't want to give money or shell out money for fatherhood programs. Okay, because if you're going to a fatherhood program, you are therefore stepping away from them, because if the father is sometimes involved, he can help, and I'm gonna say it again, he can help to change the direction that the child goes. So they won't be involved in the juvenile justice system to be involved in the adult penal system. So yeah.
Yeah, well, let's get started. I mean, to that point, it's the by contrast, a woman will walk into a domestic violence shelter though, and be told, be walked through from A to Z on how to file everything she needs to do to file a restraining order, right?
We're gonna get started, and I'm gonna tell you about that. All right.
All right, everybody. It is February 18th, 2022. This is the first of what I hope to be many meetings between a collection of Black men from across the country trying to effectuate change in what we know is a very unfair, dare I say, corrupt legal system. The Black man has been maligned as a deadbeat parent, but in a lot of scenarios, men are being pushed out of their children's lives due to no fault of their own. There's a collection of men on this phone call tonight from across the country, because this is a nationwide epidemic of fatherlessness. At the moment, we have Eric Smith out of Baltimore, founder of Winning Strategies and Dads for the Win, and Don Adams from Florida of Finding Fathers. We're going to start off with a scripture and a prayer, because I'm a firm believer that there is a spiritual component to this, and it is something that men need to address. We need to look inside ourselves and first look to God, and then He will heal our land. But I'm going to start off with a verse out of Psalms 127, 3-5. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offering a reward from Him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth. Blessed is the man whose stock is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their opponents in court. Eric, could you go ahead and give us an opening prayer, brother?
Oh, Heavenly Father, Lord above, I just want to come to you tonight, oh Father, to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to come to share and to impart our wisdom on those who may want to try to do this with us as a collaborative. It has to start someplace, oh Father, and I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to just come together as men, come together as Black men, trying to effectuate change in our state, trying to effectuate change across the land. We know that it can be done with you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen and amen. I wanted to start off with, the idea behind this call is an introduction. Everybody get a chance to meet one another, hear about everybody's program. I'm going to start off with something that me and Don did last week. We're going to go over it again. Give us about a 5 to 6 minute introduction of yourself, your divorce case, things that worked, things that didn't, whether you have had an attorney or not, things you could do different, any books or websites that you might have used that help you out in your ordeal. I'll go first. The 2015, I was served with divorce papers. My ex-wife, through virtually every, silver bullet in the book that she had. I was accused of domestic violence, child abuse, multiple restraining orders, financial irresponsibility, neglect, being psychotic, drug addiction, workplace harassment, being chronically unemployed, and non-supportive of my children. Now, this is something, it's interesting because at the time, I was a credentialed school teacher. And we're talking about things that, that once the court is allowed to listen to or hear, once they get a narrative, it's almost impossible to change it. But we were talking about somebody that is a credentialed school teacher, and at this point, a state peace officer. So just about everything that in reality that I could prove that argued against all these allegations that were going on, it was completely ignored. But for about the first year of the proceedings, I was just like everybody else. You're just astounded by the type of things that go on, the lack of due process, the lack of fairness, the lack of your ability to even tell your side of the story. Now, one thing that I would like for this organization to be is a resource for men to get information on how to represent themselves pro per. I had 8 attorneys. That's 8 retainers. Upwards of 20 between $2,500 and $3,500 times 8. Some were better than others, but I would really only recommend one. A lot of times these attorneys are leading these men to slaughter. They're doing everything but helping you. I think of there was a meme that was online, and you have this is the type of help that you can expect from an attorney. There was it was a picture of a guy in a ditch, pretty deep one, and you had somebody up on top of the hole lifting his hand down, and there was a ladder right next to him. And the idea is like, he is not really helping him because a solution that would completely solve all his problems is sitting right next to him, and he's denying him that help. So, that probably about the first 2 years was just a cavalcade, just a mistake after mistake of, my attorneys so-called helping me. Now, one of the main things that helped me was just being organized, being aggressive. And, I'm a natural debater. I like to talk. And when I was served originally, I was believing, this was right up my alley. One of my main benefits is the fact that, it was not a very good plan to begin with, because essentially their tactic was just to, just level 3 years worth of false allegations. But, long story short, we have to get guys, I'd like to create a program. Now, Eric had really good idea about giving people the opportunity to kind of go through a mock trial type situation. Now that is that and sets you up for what you can expect to see once you get in court. How to answer questions, what type of questions you're going to be asked, how to field and rebut those questions, how to file paperwork. All this stuff is something we should all be about. Coming up with a program to teach men how to defend themselves and how to maintain custody of their children. So with that, I'm gonna pass it to you, Don. So go ahead and tell us your initial story.
Good evening, gentlemen, families, friends, special guests. Appreciate you having me here. My name is Donald R. Adams II, and I'm a father, a husband, a role model, leader, but I didn't always used to be. My organization's name is Finding Fathers, Inc. And what we are is a 501c3 nonprofit student association created to build a community of support for fatherless children. But to give you a better idea of what that is, we rival and compete alongside other fraternal and sororal organizations. So we're all-inclusive association, and it's for fatherless children. I don't know if, I'm sure you guys know about different fraternities, sororities, how they have these different requirements for their pledges, the type of courses you have to be in school, the type of prestige you have to carry. You know, this one is not too many requirements. Anyone who is looking to help out fatherless children or are fatherless or part of a family that may, you know, be experiencing the absence of a father, everybody's going to be welcome to this. We're going to be like the church in the community for fatherless kids. You know, we're going to bring you in, doesn't matter what you're going through, build you up, send you back out. Hopefully you'll do the same for some others. And the reason I started this organization was, first, I wanted to help children, help fathers get parental rights and visitation rights for their kids. So let me give you a little bit of backstory on this. I myself have spent some time being fatherless during my teenage years growing up in Chicago, Illinois, and there are a lot of causes why people are fatherless. Mine was because of divorce. But again, it was the most important time in a young Black man's life during my teenage years in high school. I didn't really get any counseling on the divorce. My parents hadn't really come to me and talked to me about the divorce. I started to experience some of those negative effects that can be caused by the absence of a father in the home. Drug and alcohol abuse, lack of educational achievement, early sexual activity, incarceration, criminal behavior and activity. I mean, you name it. I went through just about every negative effect of being fatherless. Once I started to, you know, live life, get a little bit older, I made a lot of mistakes because I wasn't guided properly, in my opinion. So these mistakes have turned into a cycle now to where my own children that were born out of wedlock, and a lot of the number 2 leading cause of kids being fatherless is out of wedlock births. So even my children have experienced times of being fatherless because of decisions that I've made. I saw that it was a terrible cycle, and I said, you know what, I got to do something to change this. I don't want to leave my kids by the wayside, so let me do whatever it is I can to be a part of their lives, which led me into some of these custody battles that I've been dealing with. So me wanting to be a part of my kids' lives no matter what, I decided to take these women to court to try to solidify my spot in my children's life so I could be a part of their lives on a daily basis. And I have been met with some of the most horrendous resistance you could possibly think of. I mean, I've been wrongfully imprisoned. You know, I've had Department of Children and Families sent to my house on several occasions. The police have been in my house on several occasions. And it's all due to these alienation tactics that I've been dealing with because of the women. So the reason I started the organization is because I was being met with so much resistance that I wanted to find a way to help other fathers like myself that are going through these type of issues in court. Now, me personally, I took on this situation on my own. I've been pro se the entire time, haven't even reached out for an attorney, not even a pro bono attorney, because I don't feel that a man should have to pay for their God-given rights to be able to be a part of their kid's life. You know, I don't believe in paying for justice, and I'm not about to. You know, I could spend that money on my children
yeah,
rather than to be spending it in court and fueling a system that's already broken. But in my pursuit of trying to get these visitation rights and parental rights for my children, I couldn't help but to think of how important it is that these children, while I'm fighting for them, are still not getting the resources, love, protection, guidance. You know, they're still fatherless. So I shifted the focus, or we shifted the focus of the organization to not just only help fathers get parental rights for their kids and be the mediators in the living room versus in the courtroom, but I shifted that focus to help support these children that were being left by the wayside. Because again, these children are fatherless. The federal government that criminalizes the non-paying child support party they're not getting any help to the children who are estranged from their family. So, when we shifted the focus, we said, we want to create a community of support, an extra extended family for these fatherless kids, which is how we came up with the concept of starting this all-inclusive student association. If you go back to what I was saying about my parents being divorced when I was going through my teenage years in life, that was high school. And I was very susceptible to learning. And I learned a lot of all the wrong things. I mean, all the bad things, especially being from Chicago, Illinois. I experienced in gang activity, gang violence, and a number of other negative effects that come along with this being fatherless. So what we want to do with this student association is we want to give these kids a family structure, even if they don't have their biological or natural father. We still want you to be able to have fathers and father figures around. We want you to have those extra extended family members as far as your peer group. You want to be able to have a system of support and a full community of support. So Finding Fathers Inc. is, again, we're a community of support for fatherless children, a family for the fatherless, so to say. And I thought it would help more than me just trying to fix my problems, but also try to fix some problems for a bunch of kids that are being left by the wayside by, some of these fathers that are going through these things. And it hasn't been easy dealing with parent alienation, fighting pro se, being a pro se litigant. That's what they call me. So it's not easy going pro se because you're right. They paint these negative pictures of you, but I am the petitioner in each and every one of my cases because I felt that I wasn't going to leave my kids by the wayside. Even if I needed to go into the court myself, I wasn't going to leave these kids by the wayside. So that's how Finding Fathers Inc. came into existence. We wanted to bring more awareness and create more support for fatherless children. So in our efforts to do so, we've also created National Fatherless Children's Day, which is the fourth Sunday in June each calendar year. The Sunday right after Father's Day Sunday is now Fatherless Children's Day. So we want these children to be celebrated. We want to bring more awareness to this epidemic. We want to get more support created for this problem and try to fix these issues ourselves, because the systems that are in place right now are not friendly to families. They're not friendly to fathers, and they're keeping these children estranged, not being able to get what is in their best interest, which is a father figure, role model, leader, protector, supporter. I mean, there's so much. So, I feel it's necessary for us to step up to the plate and just knock it out the park. However we got to do it, this is my way of doing that. And again, I appreciate you having me here. It's been so many different organizations, members of the community, leaders in the community, even politicians that have helped me along this path. And we line up with some of our ideals and the things we want to do. We have some creative partnerships going, but I'll go ahead and digress for the moment. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure though. Just real quick, Donnie, if in my case, I mean, there's certainly some advantages to being pro se, because one of the things you immediately come into contact with the fact that you're the petitioner. That comes with some considerable advantages. And when you think that attorneys, they have, in this particular case, your wife, she's only one of their clients, right? They have 10 other or whatever, 20 other clients to manage in a month. So your wife gets 1/20th of her time, for example, and you are operating alone. You're, all your time is devoted towards your case. So there are some advantages to being pro per. And, one thing I noticed that, nobody, I had attorneys, I had 8 attorneys, but nobody, not even including your attorney, is going to care more about your case than you. You know, I found out that I was given my attorney 85% of the arguments that they use, which actually, you know, that begs the question, why am I paying you? You know, if I would have, if I would have been in the same place by my, you know what I'm saying? If I didn't have y'all be in the same, I would have got the same thing I got. So what, you know, make the argument for me paying you all this money? So, I mean, just real quick, if you could let us know, what was there any books that you read? Did you, was it somebody you spoke to? Did you come across some information, a website that really, you know, gave you the tools that you needed?
You know, I want to agree with you. No one is going to have the passion that you have, even if you're paying them.
Yeah.
They won't have the passion that you have to fight to be a part of your kids' lives and go against all odds.
Mhm.
Now, while being a pro se litigant, that's what they call me. While being pro se, I've had to read these statutes, piece together the meaning behind the words. You know, I don't know, by me not being an attorney, I don't know all the jargon that attorneys use or the legal system uses, just like if it was a doctor. You know, I don't know all of the terms that doctors use. So same thing with courts. I didn't know all of the terms that they use, all the different forms that need to be filed, when you need to file them. I just had to go through a trial by error. You know, I had so much passion to be a part of my kids' life that nothing was going to stop me. And I just sought out what I need to do, what I need to do next. Now, they do try to give you a case manager, someone who can't really give you legal advice, you know, but they'll assign you a case manager, and that person is supposed to help you file paperwork. They can't advise you on what to file, but they'll stamp their name on it to say that they filed it for you. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So throughout this time, you know, I've had so much resistance from not just the mother, who is an alien of parental alienation syndrome. She must be suffering from it. But I hadn't gotten any type of advice from any attorneys to the point where I'm deemed as a conflict of interest to even get public aid assistance, legal aid assistance. It's a conflict of interest because the courts, these same legal aids, shake hands and sit down and eat dinner with these lawyers and judges, you know, so they're a part of the system, which is why I don't pay them. I'm not paying somebody who's gonna sit down with the same people that are helping this person keep me away from my child. You know, as much as you want to believe that justice for all, quote, it's really not. And if you don't go after it yourself as a father, as a parent, then it doesn't matter who you pay. They're not gonna go after it like the way you would.
Yeah.
So I don't mind being pro se. I don't mind when the judge, the respondent's attorney, even my so-called caseworker advises me that, hey, maybe you should just get an attorney. I don't think I need an attorney to speak my truth for me about my kid.
Exactly.
So I've done some research. You know, I had to file a lot of paperwork. I got maybe 200 plus dockets in one case, you know, from me filing paperwork, but that's also 200 plus dockets of this person violating the court's orders.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it is a level of unfairness, definitely, by being pro se, by being a man, by being a Black man, you know, but none of that matters to me because I love my children so much that I'm willing to die for them or live for them. So I turned this into my career. I'm a full-time father now. I'm a career father, and not the way that you would think like, oh, this guy just making babies everywhere. No, I literally made a career out of being a father because I have that much love and compassion for my children. So yes, there was some research being done. I wish some of these attorneys would give the advice without asking for money, but I'm not paying for justice.
Yeah.
I ain't doing it.
Well, I mean, you know, I always try to encapsulate everything into a top 5 list of changes or remediations that need to happen to the system. But in no way, you should be able to walk into a court and with or without an attorney, that is, represented or pro se, you should be able to walk into court and expect the same level of fairness, expect the same level of consideration. I found it to be the case when I walked into the court and, dealing with the front office staff or the clerks at the front window, if you walk in there and you say you don't have an attorney, they will not even show you where the restroom is. They'll be so inhospitable to you. It's ridiculous. And that's one of the main things that, one of the changes that we need to see, this institution that we call family law. They always talk about, that they are about what is quote unquote what is in a child's best interest. Is it in a child's best interest to give their college money to an attorney so they could spend on their children? Is it in a child's best interest to put them through 5 years of my daughter, after, this almost brings tears to my eyes, after like the third psychologist that we had to see, and no crimes were ever charged. On the report, she said she felt like she was literally going crazy. So this is, and for abuse that never happened, right? So this is the stuff that we're subjecting our children to. And one of the things that I always think about is, is where's the NAACP, the Al Sharpton, and all our Black civil rights organizations, where are they in this fight while the family is getting destroyed? But let's keep it moving. Winning strategies, Mr. Smith, give us your story.
So it sort of mimics Donald's, I say.
These two pro warriors.
Yeah, because I was in front of a magistrate here in Maryland, and I didn't like what she was saying, like how she was doing her thing on the bench. So I had 3 months to prepare because I was going back in front of her. When I went back in front of her, I was more prepared. Okay, like Don. I had researched some things. However, one thing that she didn't think I had research was about how I did not have to stand up when most people go to court. Everybody think they got to rise.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that. Okay. Most people think you got to raise your right hand. You don't have to do that. Okay. Once I figured out and I researched and I found out that I did not have to put myself under her jurisdiction, under her honor, being in her courtroom. Once I did not do that, I put myself in honor. She had to see me at eye level. Okay. Even though she was sitting high up on her bench, she still had to bring herself down to see me at eye level because I was now in honor in her courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
Once I changed that dynamic, it put things in a totally different light. She was not able to enforce her ruling on me, okay? Even though she tried it, like Don, I wrote my own, well, since I was in the family court, it's not an appeal, it's called an exception. So I wrote my own exceptions against her ruling, and I won because she left out something that could have played a very key role if she had left it in there. Okay, that she ordered. All right. So once I did that and I won, I'm like, a man writing his own appeal, winning because he did something that the judicial official didn't think that he would do, which was research. Okay. My wife and I said, well, this has happened to you. How about informing other fathers on how to do this so they don't end up like how you was? With that being said, that's how we came up with Winning Strategies, Fatherhood, the Courts, and Custody. Okay? Because we look at it as when a man enters in that courtroom, okay, he's sometimes stripped. stripped of his dignity as being a father because they're taking it away from him. Okay. We are trying to educate fathers on how to maintain their custody and how to get their custody that they want, and being an actual co-parent. Okay, not a visitor, a co-parent. So with that being said, we have been assisting fathers on getting the research done, looking into their own case, and putting everything together so it can fit their mold. Okay, they can argue their case. Okay, the one of the unique things about our program is we have a mock trial, that actually gets them ready for when they go before that judge or that magistrate, so they can know how to present themselves. They know how to work with, I'll say, the system, and not always have to go through the things that I went through to get things done. Okay. We've had donations. I still have 7 suits, 7 nice suits. Okay. 2 of the suits cost $2,000 with the tag still on it. They were donated to help fathers with this. If the fathers here in Maryland don't want to take a hold of it, Don, if you got fathers that need a suit, let me know. I'll mail it down there to you. All right. So that's what we do. Okay. We try to help fathers go to court, look presentable, but we also want to help them with their speech. We also want to get them to be comfortable within themselves. Not, well, no, don't go into no courtroom saying that, or don't go into no courtroom not knowing what you want. Okay. Once that judge or that magistrate see that they can put their ruling on you because you're not together with your game, that's it. Okay. They're going to run gunshot over you. All right. Like we have a radio talk show. Okay. Not a podcast, an actual radio talk show on Thursday nights at 7:30 on WMEG. If you got an Apple iPhone, it's on TuneIn, but if you're using the Android, it's rockmed1.com.
Shout out.
And that's the online. But if you are part of our Facebook group or Facebook page, Winning Strategies, Fatherhood, the Courts and Custody, we stream it there. And we talk on Thursday nights about the actual going to court and what to do. We talked yesterday about recusing. Okay. You're like, recusing? I'm like, yeah. If you get the feeling that that judge or that magistrate you're about to have will be biased and not fair, you can ask to have them recused. Huh? They said that I can't. I said, yes. You got it. Like Don said, you're doing it pro se. So that means you're acting in your own behalf. You're acting as your attorney. So if you're acting as your attorney, therefore you can do what attorneys do. Attorneys, they go to the website to see who's your judge, and you hear that this judge has been biased towards everybody, you can ask for a motion for the judge to be recused. Okay, so we try to inform fathers. We try to gear them to the right place to go. All right. You ever heard? Most people don't know this. Google is useful for a lot of things. You know that Google has what's called a Google Scholar program. Google Scholar lets you look up the court cases in your state to compare them to your situation. Okay, you got to read through them, but it beats a LexisNexis account that you have to pay Googobs of money for to look up court cases. You can go to Google Scholar and just look up. You can look up the cases in your district or federal cases. All right, so it can be useful. Now it becomes a challenge to some fathers, and this is why we have some attorneys that help us out. They put their paperwork together, they look at it, they're like, well, have them change this, have them change that, and that works out. Like Don, like what you said, Don, paying for an attorney that's not going to do all the work for you, that ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't it. Okay. Hey, I love them. I don't knock them. However, you gotta call a spade sometimes.
I mean, we could knock them. Let's call it what it is. They take that retainer and then try to do the least work possible.
Right.
They're not gonna argue your constitutional rights. They're not gonna fight for you. They're not. For instance, okay, I think it's about my second trip to court. We had what's in California was called a child custody recommending counseling, when essentially, they pay like a therapist to come in and interview everybody. But I show up to court. This is the second half of a temporary restraining order request. They give us the findings of the CCRC, and in 30 minutes we're in front of the judge, right? And my attorney did not object, did not ask for a continuance. The first thing he should have did was, Your Honor, we just got this damn report. We need to read it. Undoubtedly, we disagree with every damn thing that's in it, right? But go in, Eric, if you could go on a little bit about when what advice, what you just got served. Okay, a brother comes to you. I just got served with divorce papers.
Mm-hmm.
Put in order, like what you need to do first. Undoubtedly, yeah, you need to respond, but what documents you need. What start formulating the case.
All right. Well, I'm not a divorce attorney. Okay.
Okay. Clear disclosure. This is not legal advice.
Right.
No one gives that without.
Right. You got to say that. I'm not here to give legal advice. Yep. No, but what we tell them is, listen. The first thing I try to tell them is, look, don't sweat the small stuff. Do you know that there can be two plaintiffs in a case? Hey, what?
Wait, hold on. You mean like in California, it's called the petitioner? That's the person who initiates action.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know that.
He could be two. He could be two. Yeah. Okay.
For the same, and it will be assigned to the same court case number.
No, they have different numbers.
Okay.
The other person is filing. Okay. However, the court has to judge everything on its merits. Okay. So if you go in there and you say what's what, but here, let me tell you like this. You go in there and you have your petition there, and you have documentation to prove certain things, to say how you want your custody to go because she has been violating. She puts hers in, and all she thinks she just has words on pieces of paper. Mm-hmm. All right. So basically, who weighs more? Yours, because you have actual physical proof of what's going on. Okay. So basically, that's it. And another thing, you want to be a plaintiff. We call it here in Maryland, and in California you call it a petitioner. And what do you call it down there, Don?
Same, petitioner, because I'm the petitioner in my cases. I'm the person who initiated the court actions.
Okay. Up here in Maryland, it's the plaintiff and the defendant. Okay. So basically, it's looked at like that. Now, in the Maryland court, the Maryland law, okay, that talks about family courts, and it's probably like that in Florida too. It's talk about the best interest of the child. Tell me, okay, if it's supposed to be in the best interest of the child, and both of you are going to court for the first time, how is it that the judge or the magistrate gives sole custody to the mother and not joint custody to the mother and the father?
Because it's not in the child's best interest. That's a joke.
So basically, right then and there, after they get to court, after we tell them to put everything together, have all their document, go in there with their documentation, and just be ready to present your case. And sometimes I even go with them just to see how they're acting. Okay. Mm-hmm. I schedule to take off from work, and I go down there with them. Mm-hmm. Before the courts got closed. And in the back, I just sit in the back and just see how they do things. Okay. Now, after this, I say, listen, don't get too upset, don't get too angry, okay, because this is how they do things. So basically, I tell them you have two options right now. You can either file for a modification on this case, or you can file for an appeal. Okay. 9 times out of 10, most judges or magistrates don't like to go against their own. Okay. So you'll take, it's a crapshoot with a modification. I say go for an appeal, because if you go for an appeal, you can show them how they erred in their judgments against you, how they did not apply the law in your case. Most of the time, it's like this: how they did not follow procedural law. Procedural law guides the family court. Most fathers don't know this. Okay, procedural law is how they should be conducting their case. Okay, procedurally, what the law states in the land for family law. A lot of that's how, and I have to say it, that's how I was able to, for lack of a better term, beat that magistrate. She violated my procedural rights, and I caught her. Okay, and when I caught her, I appealed it, and I had to go back before her for another case, for a divorce case. And she looked at me when I walked into a courtroom like, oh, hell, here he comes again.
The smart one.
So that was a look on her face, right? And I didn't take it there with her, but that's how I try to tell fathers. I'm like, listen, you got to start advocating for yourself. And advocating for yourself, that means you got to sometimes study. You got to sometimes spend long days, long nights pulling it together. That's why that person you call your attorney, that's how he or she is able to charge you the money that they're charging you, because they are sometimes putting together that work for you that you could be doing yourself. Okay, they're spending time doing you a somewhat of a favor. Okay, but the thing that you have to, that I try to get them to understand is this: if they're your child, if that's your child or they're your children, like Don said, who better to fight for them but you?
Yeah, nobody's gonna know the case better than you, because
Right.
once again, your attorney's gonna have umpteen other clients that they got to worry about, right? And
Right.
once you pay them that retainer, they immediately start giving you less attention, because
it's amazing you said that, man. One of the guys that I'm working with right now, he's like, Mr. Hurt, that attorney ain't do nothing. He ain't say nothing for my case. I'm like, okay, but why are you upset? He's like, because I paid him this money and he ain't do nothing. I'm like, do you know that there's a system where you can report him for not doing what he was supposed to do? He's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, Maryland has a system under the Maryland Judiciary website where you go in and report that attorney that did not work in your behalf. I can do that.
I mean, but Eric, real quick, I mean, but bar complaints, right? That's what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be reporting an attorney to other attorneys, and I mean, in my experience, I haven't heard too many people get too far with that.
But okay, he may not get too far with it. However, he's bringing attention to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get to that point.
Yeah, he's bringing negative attention to him. Okay, and if he has factual proof about it, he can come on a social site like this and say that attorney ain't crap. That attorney, you shouldn't use him because of, and here's the paper I have to say that, because I had to file against him. So
they all have Yelp pages and online. You get in there and give them a critique.
There you go.
Step on their toes that way.
And that's how I'm trying to let him know. I'm like, don't get so hung up on what he didn't do.
Mhm.
Okay, this is the time that you do. He's like, well, dang, all the money that I paid him, I should have gave to winning strategies. Y'all did more. I'm like, listen, we're not here to hit your pockets, man. We're here to help you be a better father to your child.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see that's one thing, but you know, when you get filed, a lot of people I've heard to say when they get something from the court, you know, they start panicking. They start getting heart palpitations. A lot of it is just simply having the confidence to go in there, right?
Not only let me stop. Not only the confidence, Lamar. Also, you got to look at how the system has treated us in the past and what we think about the system. Okay, how most of the come on now,
the fear and the anxiety
in our communities, okay, a lot of guys go to court for criminal charges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, one thing I would tell well, I don't know. You two let me know what you think about this. Okay. I would say, I would advise going into family law court, you know, however, if there is a restraining order on the docket, you might want to consider, because that, bro, there's some serious consequences and repercussions to a restraining order.
Well, you know,
if a restraining order is on the docket, is it time to get an attorney?
No. Okay. Because it's this, okay? Even with those ex parte restraining orders, you can't bypass them. They have to play themselves out. All right. However, in playing them and letting them play out, you have to let them play out honestly. If they ask you a question, be honest about it. Okay. If you know you didn't do anything, they will catch them. Reason I say that, and I have a real passion for that. My son's mother put two what you call them took me to CPS. Took me to CPS twice.
Okay.
Twice. Okay. Neither case was founded. Okay.
None of them are. I think the number in what I call real court, right? 90% of the time, domestic violence restraining orders are denied. Even in family law court, where the evidentiary standard is preponderance of evidence, 51%, it's still like 80% of the time they are denied, or at the end of the day, they're unsubstantiated.
Right.
I can even add to that. I had 7 false injunctions filed against me. This is by one person. 7 false injunctions. I've had 2 to 3 false DCF investigations done on my wife, as well as another 3 to 4 against me by this one alienating parent. She put criminal charges against me. I was falsely imprisoned twice. And this is all just trying to be a part of my kid's life, dealing with someone who's bitter and jealous and not trying to be fair with living with and taking care of and raising the child. So I've been through all kind of negative issues, yet I go in there with my head held high every time. You know, I'm going there suit, tie, I speak boldly, I'm not afraid to say it, or whatever it is I need to say. And what I think is happening, especially in the Black community, because of the oppressive things that have been done to us through the legal system, we get anxiety from going to court. Yeah, we get apprehensive, we get anxious about it, and we straight flat out fearful and scared to go into a courtroom and be the same G that we be in these streets when we be ready to do all the crime.
Don, you say, and look, Don, say that.
Man,
say
listen,
that.
I'm tired of brothers in our community being scared to stand up and be a father figure, a leader, a man, a gangster in the courtroom. Do what you got to do and fight for your kids, because these are your children.
That's why we're having, it's called, if they approve it for where we want to have it, it's called fatherhood fairness. rally for justice.
Mhm.
All right. Fatherhood fairness, rally for justice. We
Okay.
want to stand right outside of the court where family decisions are made and express to fathers who are going through this, express to fathers who want to, I hate to say it like this, fight the system, okay, because the system is broken, all right, and actually put their best foot forward, all right.
Mhm.
We want to be that catalyst for change. We want to help those fathers, like Don said, hold their heads up high when you go in there to speak before these judges. Don't be anxious. If you know what you want is right, then there you go. You present it to say, hey, this is how I want my custody to be for our child, not my
Mhm.
child or her child, our child.
Mhm.
All right. We have to do that. Okay. Our children deserve it. All right.
Mhm.
And let me say this, like other fathers, and I mention it all the time on the radio show. It's
22.
2022, right?
Mhm.
I have not seen my son since 2019, and he lives probably 7 miles from me. Reason being, if I go over there, she has right to say that I am um being harassing her because the judge who I just wrote. Oh, I left out something. I had to write my second appeal. Okay, and now it's currently being heard this month in the Court of Special Appeals, which is under the state Supreme Court here in Maryland.
That's what I'm
Okay,
talking about.
against the judge and her attorney. Okay, I had to put that together because you're going to take my son from me when, like you said, Don, and like you said before when we had conversation, she is the one that's been doing things. She is the one that has not been. Okay,
In contempt.
right. I have been. Okay, listen to this. How you going to take me, try to take custody from me when I've been the PTO president of the boys'
Mhm.
school? How you going to try to say that I've done something when I've put him in wrestling, when I've put him in baseball? Okay, come on, man.
Eric, if I could ask you real quick, what is your the custody status right now? Do you have joint legal, joint physical? What's
No,
going on?
the stat. The reason why I had to appeal it to the judge, he took everything from me.
On what grounds?
He said that I wasn't I wasn't adhering to the medical recommendation. Okay, what he
What?
meant by I'm gonna tell you what he meant by that was she had my son taking was it Ritalin, okay,
Okay.
all right, um, and because she said that he was having issues because of his brother that was murdered.
Mhm.
Um, okay, how about, and she said he was having nightmares. She said he was having nightmares. Okay, now
Mhm.
you hear what I said. She said that he was having nightmares.
Mhm.
All right. So basically, when my custody started back up, because she was keeping me from him for a period of time, and the day before I got married, I had to go to court. Okay, so I had already had his suit ready for him for when because he was going to be in my wedding.
Mhm. Gonna be your best man. Mhm.
he got put back. I mean, his custody came back to me that day before my wedding. All right. So basically, what happened was, she tried to get me to say that he needs to be on sign off on him being on medication, and I'm like, I'm not signing off on that. I
Mhm.
said because if it's something that you feel as though he needs to do, let he and I go to parent child counseling, okay, to get over this. I'm like, this was when he was with you and what you wanted to do. Now it's us in the picture. Let me do what I can for our son to make him be a better young man. All
Mhm.
right. So Her
Well,
lawyer,
wait, hold on, Eric. Now just think on that, right? You have what sounds like a individual private decision that a parent can make. I mean, Ritalin is not, it's not cancer medication. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not something that's, you know, life or death that if he don't take this, he's going to die. This is an option, right? And undoubtedly you could have challenged the doctor's even recommendation for prescribing that.
but see, that's just it. I did. They didn't like me.
Which
that.
as a father, that's your right.
Right.
But
see, you got to remember, Lamont, she was under Title 4D.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Speak on that for a little bit. Tell everybody what the 3,000-pound gorilla in the room on why these upside down custody orders get placed. Speak on.
All right. Title 4D is allowed throughout the United States for women when they're on social services to continue to get social services. All right. Because once they go to court and they say, well, they have a court order saying that the child needs to be with them and they can't get the services that they want from the social services system if they're not under their rule, okay, living with them. All right. That's how the court systems and the social service systems sort of get their money. Look up the Title 4D Act of the Social Security Act. Okay, it's right there. All right. And that's what I had to battle against. All right. That's how I had to prove my case. That's how I try to get other fathers to prove their case. All right. Like one of my fathers who went through, he got sole custody of his daughter. All right. Sole custody of his daughter. He said, I can provide for my daughter. She's not doing it. Okay. She's supposed to do things with her. She's not. She brings her home to me. Okay. So basically, the custody changed to him. He got full custody. All right. They gave her some custody, but she has been lagging in that. She has not been fulfilling her duties. He said, so Eric, can you show me how to put in for my child support against her? Because she ain't doing what she's supposed to be doing. So she needs to be able to give me money towards her when she brings her back, all right, from what she's supposed to be having. So Title 4D essentially lets the state child support system run high against the father.
And to what cost, right?
To my
understanding, not even. Well, hold on. You have a system that was designed solely for the recoupment of welfare, right? But has been allowed to illegally grow to include every case. And to my understanding, I think it's like only about 70% of your money that's supposed to be going to your children even makes it to the children because the state gets a cut of that.
That's correct.
So that is a whole. In all honesty, that is the reason why the system is the way that it is.
Right.
The reason why it's unfair, because the state and the county, they're trying to fatten their pockets so they don't make money on joint custody. They make money on, the most unbalanced visitation. In California, they call it visitation. They make their money off the most unbalanced visitation order that they could get.
Right. So basically, that's how I do it. That's basically not how my board gives me the way to act as I can. Okay. I was talking with, I'm gonna say, my mentor, as I am in the state legislature right now, trying to effectuate change on that point. He told me, he said,
wait, hold up. Eric, can you just real quick, we got Kenneth Womack just joined the chat, straight out of Arkansas with Proud Black Fathers. Real quick, brother, tell us, give us some information, give us your information. Tell us what Proud Black Fathers is about real quick.
going on, man? What's going on, man? It's
Good
Kenny
evening, good evening.
from
Evening.
Arkansas. I don't know why I look so dark like that. I don't know.
It's all good.
But yeah, Proud Black Fathers started out as an organization to shine a light on good Black men
Mhm.
doing right by their kids and their families.
Uh-huh.
And since turned into fighting for good Black men who are trying to do right by their kids and their family. I started in 2016 and started out as something I just was doing, telling my kid, you know, because I had went through a divorce at the time, and at the time, ex-wife was telling me that she did not need me and my kids didn't need me, and I was telling her my kids gonna always have me. So I was fighting her at the time, you know, see my kids, and so that's where Proud Black Fathers, you know, came from. It stemmed from that because too many times light is shined on the negativity surrounded by Black men in the community per se. So yeah, man, Proud Fathers came a long way since, you know, 1 or 2 followers to now it's got 100-some followers. We got recognized on a couple different national pages and radio and TVs even. And man, I just try to keep up the good fight. And I tell brothers all the time, man, keep up the good fight. And like I told people, like I drop bombs. I don't care how people feel. I don't care how women feel. I drop whatever on the page.
It is what it is.
It is
what it is.
because we as men are fed up with how we get treated and how we get downplayed and how we always get the short end of the stick. So I don't really people, you know, feelings be feeling when I drop what I drop. On my page. I don't know how y'all. I don't know if I know Lamont seen the page. That's where me and him kind of linked up at. But I don't know if any of y'all page. But I drop some pretty heavy stuff on the page sometimes, and I go in on a lot of women that try to get on there and try to combat us and what I be. Because go ahead.
Well, no. Go ahead. You still have a thought working.
And it's been too long, and we getting done dirty, man, by the system and by these women, man. I tell people all the time, man, fathers shouldn't have to fight to see their kids, and women always be like, well, they should be prepared to. You missing the point of what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Your head, why should we have to fight in the first place?
Exactly.
We shouldn't have to. Do you fight to see your kid
for something that belongs to you in the first place?
Right. It's my journey. Down a little bit, mama. Or you want to take it to the room? You want to go watch TV in the room?
Regulate, daddy, regulate.
So yeah, man, I'm about to get ready to go drop something here in a minute about the child support thing. There's somebody, because I had shared one of my homeboys wins he got, you know, no child support to get his kid every other week for the full. Snap. And he get the claim on taxes every other year and whatnot. I'm like, okay, yeah, man, that's a win. He said straight up, man, it wasn't even about the money. It was just about this woman trying to take my child away from me and telling me I couldn't see him, get him. And I tell people, man, yeah, that's a win for sure, but you shouldn't even have to go through that in the first place, man. You shouldn't have to go waste your money in court.
Should be the default.
Right. It should automatically be default. Okay. Unless the father is just some crazy or the mother's some crazy, it should just be default every other week or 6 months out the year or however they want to do it, as long as it's joint custody, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man, because I see it like almost every day. The inbox be full, man, of fathers going through it, fighting for their kids, man. And it sucks. It sucks about all the different situations they been getting put in just trying to see their kids.
Yeah, we had talked about, everybody kind of gave their story. You know, the other two brothers on here, they are per assassins. You know, they did it without an attorney. Did you have an attorney?
When I went through my divorce, I did, but my second time,
no. Tell us a little about your experience when you went in there unrepresented without an attorney.
So unrepresented, I downloaded, you know, all the forms that I needed from the website. The website forms I had, because I was like, man, I ain't finna go pay for no lawyer. I could do something for myself. And she was representing.
There it is. He said, Don said paying for justice. We shouldn't have to pay for no justice.
Right. We should have to pay for justice. And that's what I told. And when I went in there and I went before the judge and she had her representative, I said, Your Honor, straight up, I shouldn't even have to be here to fight fight to see my child. I'm not a bad father. I don't do nothing crazy. I'm not no crackhead. I'm not abusive. We all, because this woman sitting over here next to me wants something out. That's what it all boils down to. The woman wants something out of the deal, whether she wants you hurt, she don't want you with another woman. She want money. She wants something out of the deal.
Well, yeah, this process. Did she have an attorney real quick? Did she have an attorney? Yeah, the attorneys, they tell them, they'll dig for information. I was able to come across my ex-wife's her intake questionnaire, right? And I read that the paralegal in the office was literally asking her for my social security card number, my driver's license number, so she could do it. Undoubtedly she was getting ready to run a background check, a criminal background, violating my privacy rights, right? So I mean, these attorneys, women, they get the message on, you want to throw as much dirt on somebody, do whatever you got to do to get, because we've already talked about Title 4D, do whatever you got to do to get the child support, do whatever you got to do to get the house, to get the kids, etc.
Right. I told mine straight up, you're not getting my social. I told the lawyer straight up, I don't know what you're gonna do if you ain't getting it today.
Oh, Chad, wait. Her attorney asked you for your personally identifiable information?
Yeah, trying to addresses and everything. I said, okay.
You don't have to provide that.
And I didn't. And I said, okay, you can have the address because it's where the child gonna be.
Yeah.
Where I stay at. But you ain't getting no debit cards, no tax information, no credit card statements. You ain't get none of that.
No. Hey, so walk us through your experience pro per. How'd that go down?
So when I had a lawyer, this was my first two children. She had hers, I had mine. I pretty much just paid them, and all he did was just forms. Like you pay.
That's all they do. Take your retainer and then do as little work as possible.
Right, and he went on about his business, and we went.
Did he ever go to court for you? At least did he go to court?
We went to court, but it was literally okay. Divorce approved. Yada yada yada. Y'all get on. It wasn't no really fighting in the court. It was fighting between the lawyers at first before we went to court. Until we got onto an agreement. Because I was telling her, because I was in the Army at the time, and that made it a little bit for me. Because
I was better or harder?
A little harder. Because active Army, automatically we don't get like physical joint custody.
Why not?
Because we go into the field a lot and we deploy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So well, that shouldn't be grounds for you not to get joint custody. Plenty of married families and intact families. The dad travels a lot or the mom travels a lot. That don't mean you lose custody of your children.
It'd be hard. I'm telling you, it'd be hard, man, for the active duty personnel. For men and women, that's across the board. They look at you like, are you active duty? Child gonna be moving around a lot, or you gonna deploy? Then you gotta try to figure that out. And so, like, okay, the child can go with the non-military spouse or whatever you want to, whoever that is. And so during that time, we kind of like we was already without divorce. It was a crazy divorce, man. About to find. I gave her everything out the house. My TV, my car, my clothes and whatnot. She got all the furniture, yada yada yada. I said, you can take all of that because she had cheated on me and my best friend.
Whoa! So thanks, homeboy.
Right? You know what? You take my kids, and I want My clothes were yet, and I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing. So that was part of it. That was part of our little divorce, but we got into the spat. She wanted full, like, well, at first it was like she wanted full custody, and I wouldn't get to see them except for supervised visits, and I would go out there to see them because she stay in El Paso. But we end up.
Were there false allegations of why was she asking for supervised visitation?
She's trying to say because of the company I used to keep around, because I was supposed to be cheating and I was having different women around and yada yada. That's why she cheated. And man, it was a whole bunch of bull.
Lies.
Yeah. Did the courts grant that bullshit though?
No, heck no, man. We got joint custody.
I mean, if you on Facebook, you see some crazy stories, bro. You see some crazy stories.
I'll tell you some crazy ones, man.
Yeah.
I ain't none of the brothers' names, man, but one of the brothers that's in the inbox now, he telling me about how the wife, they were still married, going through a divorce. She took the kids, like in the middle of the night, bro. Jumped up, took the kids without a word, went to, I had to go back and look. I think it was Texas. Texas.
Mm.
Filed for divorce from there after 6 months, but he didn't even know where she was.
Mm-hmm.
She trying to figure out where she is with the kids.
Mm.
So she was gone for like 6 months. She filed for divorce in Texas, saying that he abandoned them. He abandoned his family and went off with like some other woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn around, had another baby. She ended up getting pregnant while doing that little course. I think she had been gone for like 6 months. Ended up getting pregnant by another guy down there. But saying that the man she was still married to, had abandoned them.
Mm.
So they going through that because the court's trying to go, the course is going off what she's saying because she filed first. So she filed for divorce. So what she going for is full custody, child support. He don't get no visitation. And I had to go back and look at the rest of them. Because man, this shit is blowing my mind. This brother is in in the inbox, man. I had to call this brother. I'm like, yo, man, I'm sorry you going through that. Come like, bro, one day you think you happily married. Next thing you know, man, like, can you imagine waking up to your wife and kids just gone? Like,
which is actually against federal law. It's the UCCJEA, the Uniform Child Custody Jurisdiction Enforcement Act. They're not supposed to do that. If you can't just take the kids and bounce like that. But you know, and everybody has this experience in these courts. They don't enforce nothing. The only thing they enforce is child support collection. You get $5,000 in arrears on child support, you go to prison.
And they gonna real quick. They're gonna take the license. They're gonna knock on your door for child support before they knock on your door about you not being able to see your kid.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing. They're gonna knock on your door first before they knock on the mother's door about her not letting you see the child. And that is just a freak up.
In California, that it's called I think every state has they call it different things, kind of like Riverside County calls the child abduction unit. And you know, every county has a division of the district attorney's office that is supposed to enforce visitation orders.
Supposed to, keyword.
Yeah, exactly. I actually want to go down there and go in there and see if they just in there eating pizza, or I don't know what's going on.
Man, I'll tell you what I wanted to do, man, for Father's Day, and I wanted it to be big, man. I wanted to get a father rally together.
Okay. Well, Don's got something going on the fourth Sunday of every June. Go ahead and shout it out again, Don.
Oh yeah, Finding Fathers Inc., the organization I founded, is proclaimed the fourth Sunday in every June, each calendar year, which is the Sunday after Father's Day Sunday, is National Fatherless Children's Day. So that we can recognize, celebrate, and support those kids that's being left by the wayside, and those families also. And, you know, as adults, me as a 42-year-old man, I still got daddy issues. So, you know what I'm saying? I want some support. I want some acknowledgement, and those kids need it too.
To that point, Don, and we're gonna wrap it up. We coming up. I only scheduled this for 90 minutes, and we at an hour and 15 minutes. So let's start wrapping it up. To that point, I came across a quote. I forgot who it was, but I sent it in the group chat. They talked about how they, you know, the trauma that we go through in these divorce, these, you know, vexatious, crazy divorce proceedings. This will, you know, your bloodline is damaged for the next 3 generations, right? This will cause damage for your grandkids, right? The absence of a father, that, you know, even the mom now, you take a you know, 2 people making $100,000, right? You take a $200,000 household, now each you got 2 $100,000 households, right? And you know, we talked about the alienation that goes on. So you're alienating the kids from an entire side of the family, you know, uncles, cousins, grandparents, great grandparents. That's an entire generation of help, financial assistance, counseling, encouragement, right? So it's bad in, you know, a million different type of ways. And once again, you know, I would just like to thank everybody for coming on to the call. Hopefully this will be the start of, you know, a great collaboration, you know, because we do need the things that go on Facebook. We do need that advocacy. We need that, but that's only part of it. We need, you know, to change these laws, you know, the counseling that we do, the activism. It's, you know, it's a war on a 1,000 different fronts. So with that, you know, let's if everybody want to give a last shout out to their organization over the line, and Don is going to take us out with the closing.
Now, any father who wants to try to do this on a legislative piece, and y'all want help, just reach out to me. I'm willing to help her out in your state. I will, like, I have, like, I've told Lamont about him. If you ever get a chance, I want you to go to his YouTube page. It's called The Norman Nick Show. All right. Norman is a real, he lives in Arizona. I brought him over here in Baltimore one time, all right, to do a piece. Norman is real good. He knows I'm more on the legislative and the law piece. So the fathers can actually know where to go to start to, I don't want to say make noise, but start saying what they want to be changed. They are citizens of that state. All right, they pay their salary. So basically, you need to tell me what you're going to give me. It has to start someplace. Okay. So here at Winning Strategies, we just don't work for fathers here in Maryland. We work for fathers who want to help in any state with what is in this country. All right. So that's all I have to say on that piece, fellas.
There it is. Thank you, brother. Go ahead, Kenneth.
Hey, shout out, hey, love y'all, man. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I got on the call. I guess I misunderstood the time a little bit. But yeah, I enjoy meeting y'all brothers real quick for the quick time. We're gonna jump on the next call. I'm gonna jump on it on time next time. I'm gonna make sure I put it on my calendar. And I'm make sure I love my baby, but I'm make sure she's in the back sleep before we jump on the call.
Right, I heard you regulating. Go ahead and shout out your organization.
Shout out Proud Black Fathers here, man. Proud Black Fathers. We gotta stick together, and we're gonna keep pushing for better, man, for us.
That's right.
I'm finna go start some mess on Facebook in a minute. Y'all gonna see it.
All right.
Well, just in closing, you know, it's these types of organizations, you know, those that are supporting Proud Black Fathers, supporting, educating our unknowledgeable fathers on how to get those rights in court and, you know, be that person instead of paying that person, you know, and to get that mental help and mental health help that not only do we need as men and as fathers in this whole battle, but for these kids also, because they're being affected the most at the end of the day. You know, when 3 different generations are being affected by what's happening in one generation, we do have to do something to make a change. So, you know, Finding Fathers Inc., again, it's an all-inclusive student association and community public charity also. So this is open to people that's not in school, because some of our fatherless kids are high school dropouts. But anyway, you know, I think that these types of organizations, us type of men, we need to be that change that we so desperately are looking for. And we can do that if we are communicating the right messages to each other and to our families, rather than communicating to those courts, because they don't want to change the way they do things. Also, if we can just hold ourselves more accountable, statistics say 50% of fathers don't even associate being a father with their personality. So we can hold ourselves and our fellow brother and fellow man and family members accountable for what we do and how we do it. That's going to make a difference. And lastly, I would say that we need to use our energy and our efforts towards our purposes, the right purposes, because no one is going to have the passion for our children that we're going to have. So I like for us to create parenting equality within, you know, Finding Fathers Inc. and other organizations, but I'd also like to see a family and a community of support for these fatherless kids and for our fathers, because our fathers need our help with being the bold, strong men that we were born to be.
Hey,
So,
Don, I wanna hook up with you to do that thing
absolutely.
on, yeah,
That's right.
yeah, from
Absolutely.
here in
That's
Maryland
right.
to
That's
down there in
right.
Florida. All
Yeah,
right.
this ain't
Yep.
the first time. It won't be the last time we be
Journey.
together.
Get that off your.
Connect.
I'm gonna be reaching out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what this is all about. You know, everybody collaborating, and I think this was a great start. You know, so with that, everybody, good night. Enjoy your weekend, and let's get this right. Let's get it
God
right.
bless.
All
Continue to
right,
be a
man.
blessing,
Peace,
brothers.
everybody.
Good night,
Right.
everybody.
Good night.
Continue to be a blessing, brothers.